What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Champion Living podcast, the only podcast crossing the lines between the sport of rodeo and fitness. Today's episode, we're just catching up on the end of the season. What's going on? Who's going to be making the NFR? Who's on that bubble? And we're diving into it right now. Welcome to the North, where it doesn't get light till like 8 a.m. now. Straight up just dark.
Dark until 8. What time does the sun go down? 3:45?
Yeah, about 4 o'clock. No, not yet. Not yet. It's getting to that point, though. Yeah, it's definitely getting to that point. How are you guys doing today? Good?
Yeah.
Rolling.
Yeah, just another day.
Logan's just rolling, not rocking.
Trying to catch up. yeah, just rolling.
Just 50%.
Just rolling. Yeah, 50%. Dude, just trying to catch up between the Oklahoma Freedom event and Albuquerque last week, and I'm just trying to actually, when I say catch up, I really just mean appease my wife. We're really in that mode right now where it's like, sir, how can I serve you? Because I've been gone for 2 straight weeks almost. So what can I do to help you? Yeah, that's the state that we're in right now.
Well,
great.
Yeah. But at least you were able to be on the road and do all that, right?
100%. Absolutely. It was all good. It was all really it was a really good trip. Both trips were good. I got to hang out with Paul and OKC for a few days, and it was a lot of fun. Man, it was really good because it was super relaxed. We didn't have just a bunch that we had to go do at all. So we were able to spend some time just chatting, hanging out, working out. We got to train with some of the guys in the gym and got to go locker room and warm the guys up and hang out with the team and stuff. So it was just a really enjoyable time. We spend so much time by ourselves, right? Remote coaches. So anytime we get to like be around each other, it's like, it's encouraging and it's fun. And so it was a really good trip.
Yeah, I don't know if relaxed would be what I would use to define that weekend, but there was no set in stone schedule. We just kind of we filled the void. We did. Yeah. We definitely filled the void however we could. But
yeah, it was.
Dude, I'm glad you guys got to go. That was your first experience there live with them, right?
Yes, yes, it was outside of Cheyenne, year 1, game 1, the very beginning. Genesis of PBR teams. That's been the only event I've gone to. So OKC.
Sweet. What'd you guys think of the production? Like how the teams event are run?
I mean,
looked great on TV. We sat in the locker room, so looked awesome.
They didn't let you guys on the buck and shoot with them
in the locker room. I don't know. We didn't even try.
We probably could have. Slade Long was hanging out in the locker room, so we sat in there and talked.
That's cool.
Nerdy bull riding stats with him for
heck yeah.
That dude is what a wealth of knowledge that guy is. It's so cool,
man.
Yeah.
I've never met him in person.
I hadn't either, and I had just mentioned to Logan like earlier in the day. I was like, you know who would be a really good podcast guest? Slade Long. Like he's been running pro bull stats and like doing all this stuff. And then sure enough, we walk into the Freedom locker room. Cody Lostro kind of escorts us back there. And who else is standing there but Slade Long? And I was like, that's fortuitous. Like, he's definitely got to be on the podcast now.
Not just standing there. He set up shop in the Oklahoma Freedom locker room for the weekend. Like, he would sit there on his computer and he was working and visiting with us. And you'd love him. He's just bull rider from Louisiana. And he's pretty funny. And anyway, he's some of the stuff that he was telling, he was like, "Hey, did you know?" And I'm like, "No, Slade, I did not know that. How am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know that?"
If there was a pause in conversation, like where it got quiet, he would just spit out some random bull riding fact. Like, this is awesome.
One of the things that was super interesting is he was like, guys might say that they like bulls away from their hand better, but they don't. Everybody rides bulls into their hand better. More consistently than they do bulls away from their hand. I'm like, cool. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that bit of information, but I'm glad that I know that now. And just because he has all
someone
the stats
says they
for
like it
years
away
and
from
years
their
and years, be like, nope,
No, I know you
Wrong.
don't. You're lying.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Let's pull up your profile.
Look
That's
at this.
hilarious.
Anyway.
You're 2
Yeah.
for 16 away from your hand, buddy.
Oh man. Yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, to get to see the guys in their element, right? I mean, we've worked with, Oklahoma Freedom for the last 2 seasons, and so being able to be with those guys, Eli and Chase, and around that environment, man, it was a lot of fun to be able to just to get to spend some time with them. We got to visit with Eli for quite a while on Saturday, and worked out together and stuff. And Dawson Gleaves, we got to work out in with him. And so it was just good to see the boys outside of a phone screen or a phone call or a text message. And we started working with some of the Brazilians that are on the Oklahoma Freedom team. And, a few of them, their English is almost non-existent, if not non-existent. And so to be able to be there in person and have a translator and like, hey, this is how the app works and this is how we do things. And it made all the world of difference. Leading up to that event, it was like they couldn't even figure out how to download the app. And since then, Elismar has just been knocking it out of the park. He texts me. We text almost every day. He's hitting his workouts. Like, it just made a big difference. But it was because we were able to go in person. Hi, I'm Logan. I'm not just some crazy guy off the Instagram that's like going to write these workouts for you. Like, I do know what I'm doing. And we were able to put a face with a name, and it seemed to make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. I got that same vibe, and it's so much easier to, even though like within the outside of the presence of a translator, even in person, like there's still like a human connection. Like even though we don't speak the same language, it's easier than just Google translating the entire conversation and trying to make sense, because
kicking my butt.
Somebody's got to do it. Either I'm going to have to translate everything that I'm sending to them, or they're going to have to translate everything they're sending to me, and so we kind of meet in the middle, somewhere. Like, we'll try and use the words that we know or whatever. And but yeah, just being able to have that human connection, and good.
That's the only one I've got down right now, but it's that's what I comment on every single workout.
Yeah, boom.
Boom. B-O-M. And then the little muscle emoji.
That's funny. Well, I'm glad you guys got to go, and I know it was
yeah, me too.
PBR Teams is so new. It's like in its infancy, right? And dude, it's funny because it is a team sport, and none of the coaches know anything about team sports. And it's kind of a hey, I'm not trying to say that in a mean way, but it's a fact. Like Flint asked one of the coaches, I forgot who it was, but at one of the events, it wasn't in Missouri, it was the one before that. But he's like, did you purposely let this guy sit out to help his competition volume decrease? And the coach was like, and Flint looks at me, he's like, it's a common sports term. Like, you should know what this is. Like, what's going on here? So I had a good chuckle at that, because it was a great question, and they just have no idea what it is, and they have no idea how team sports works, or the logistics that go along with managing a handful of athletes. We're still at this phase where they're, it's just not there. And for instance, like the warm-ups that the Freedom were doing prior to you guys getting there was not appropriate whatsoever. Even though you guys write the warm-ups, the coaches are doing what they think is best, and what they thought was best was crushing their soul before they got on. So you've got a handful of guys going to get on. They've got chicken legs. They're freaking sweating halfway about to puke before they get on a bull, and you're already doing that, Yeah, like, and then you expect them to perform. It just doesn't work. It goes downhill quickly. So I'm just glad that you guys were there to help them and to kind of steer them on the right path. I have no doubt that it went right back to normal after you guys left, but I'm glad that you got to be there.
They said they've been doing their warm-ups. So they said that they've been doing the warm-up that we wrote for them. So I would imagine, I don't think they'll ever go back to Sally Up or Sally, whatever that song is. I don't think they'll ever go back to that, because a couple of them were like, thank you so much for coming. we're so glad you're here. That was so much better. And I'm like,
don't
you're
let him hear us say
welcome.
that.
Yeah,
that's
for
funny,
sure.
man.
But anyway, no, it was
Really funny.
It was really good.
PBR Teams has been great experience so far. I've been enjoying it too. I head to Arizona here in a week for their home game. Let's get into pro rodeo, guys. The season is just coming to an end. We have a hot 2 weeks here. All the people on the bubble are going to be pushing hard to get there. And even people that are on the other side of the bubble in that 13, 14, 15 position, I know are rodeoing hard these next 2 weeks and going to everything they can, flying a lot. But I had something really cool happen. And this is the first year it's happened after, what is this, our third year of doing this consistently, fourth year. And I had guys calling me the day after Pendleton saying they were ready to get going and training for the NFR. And the only way that has happened is because of the consistency that's taken place throughout the regular season. I've never had that happen. I'm usually having to deload for 2 weeks, just trying to get the wheels back on the track with them. And I had 2 guys call me the day after the rodeo. And we're like, hey, dude, like, let's go. I'm ready. I feel good. I said, what was that? You feel what? I feel good after all of that, and that fires me up, man, and lets me know we're doing the right things. And I think that should be something to be said to everybody out there. If you're not remaining consistent, you're falling behind. The sport is changing. The athletes are changing. The Cowboys are doing more and more. And the funny thing is, it really didn't take that much. These guys were doing 10 or 15 minutes a day of mobility and just prep work, getting on. And they were just throwing it into their warm-ups, making their warm-ups a little longer, quote unquote, but they're activating. They're keeping that body firing, those muscles primed. And here we are. Now we're going to be able to utilize that full, well, it's like it's like almost 12 weeks now that we have since the NFR is a little later.
Yeah.
How much better are they going to be going into the finals? How much better are they going to feel? How much more confident are they going to be? Dude, sky's the limit. It's going to be an outstanding NFR. And we got a handful of guys that I know that are solidified in, which is cool already to see. So I'm excited to see them, and we'll kind of go over after the season ends. We'll go over who officially makes it. I don't want to speak too soon on things. And I also am watching some of those guys on the bubble where I think they are going to be able to sneak in if it can go right for them these next couple of weeks. I always loved being at the Stevensville Rodeo, that last one of the year, and everybody's there that's trying to make it. And right then and there, people know if they're going or not. And it's always cool to see. Really cool to see.
It's tight.
Dude,
man.
I know we're probably going to get, deep into especially bareback riding with you two guys, but I just want to make a point on the bull riding real quick. It's taking, as of right now, and I mean, there's still 9 days left in the season as we're recording this, 15th place in the bull riding has $123,000. That's like,
it's changing.
$27,000 or $28,000 more than last year.
Let's see what
Like,
15th
that's
in
nuts,
the barebacks
dude.
is. Yeah, barebacks is the same. 15th place right now is 100,000.
Yeah, and Stetson's got 324,000. This is something I've been watching for the last few weeks. There's Stetson, obviously an anomaly, but he's won 324,000. The difference between him and third place, Josh Frost, right now is $100,000. The next difference in $100,000, or the next $100,000 gap, so we go from 229 down to 120 something, is going to be that 15th spot, 123. So $100,000 between first and third, $100,000 between third and 15th. Like, that's crazy. I mean, the cream's rising to the top, obviously, but it's just wild that, and it goes back to something that we've always said before. Like, when guys make a goal to say, like, I want to make the finals, where's everybody stacked up between 21st and 8th, basically. Like there's a everybody's pretty tight within there, but outside of that, there's huge gaps.
The elite are definitely rising to the top.
What it reminds me of too, I'm reminded this time of year in I saw a stat the other day, maybe you guys can pull it up. I don't trust my internet to be able to do two things at once, so I'm not going to look it up. But Stetson since the beginning of September, Stetson Wright has won. I want to say it was $130,000 or $140,000 since the beginning of September, which kind of solidifies all the things we've said about being healthy in July, August, and September. 140,000 or something he's won in the last 3 weeks. Yes, of course, he's in 2 events and he's done very well in 2 events, but that just goes to show you that the money is getting up. And if a guy can be healthy, happy, and hungry coming into the last 3 months, you can jump from 40th all the way up into the top 15 in August and September. It's just it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, he pulled massive checks at Pendleton and Ellensburg, and so that's where a good chunk of that's coming from. But he's also placed at Lewiston Extreme Bulls.
One Pendleton.
Second at Albuquerque. Yeah, 1 Pendleton, 1 Ellensburg. Or no, didn't win Ellensburg. He came in second at Ellensburg, but I think he won the X Bulls. Yeah, won the X Bulls. Third in the rodeo. So yeah.
That's just
second in the rodeo. Sorry, he went third in the round, but yeah, second in the rodeo. Yeah, he's on fire and he's feeling good. So
the dude's been on fire. Yeah, he just never cools off. He just keeps going.
I think he'll break their. He said, was it last year he set the earnings record for the regular or the?
Didn't he already break it?
Almost $1 million or whatever.
I just saw an article about him breaking the regular season.
Yes, the regular season earnings record. Yes, he's broken that. But I think the overall, he might have had that too, like after the NFR. And I'm assuming, pending a good showing at the NFR, which you would expect anything less, he will probably do that again. So
I didn't realize that oh my gosh. Oh, so Keenan Hayes he breaks the record for the regular season earnings that Clint Cannon has held for like a long time in bareback riding. Anyway, I didn't realize that Clint held that and that it's been held that long. You would think that was, in that year, I don't remember what year it was. Was it 2011 or 2013 that he set that record?
Somewhere around there.
It's been 10 years, give or take. Wow, like that's impressive that he won that much money in 2013, say, assuming 10 years ago, and they haven't broken it up until now. That was super cool. And good for Keenan. Yeah, and he's a rookie. Oh, he's an animal, man. He's an animal.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He is. He rides outstanding, super strong, just naturally an athletic dude. I think he wrestled in high school, which it's not surprising. We see tons of wrestlers come out and are super good bareback riders. Cole Reiner, J.R. Verzane, dude. I'm pretty. You could probably list probably 5 or 6. Yeah, Timo. There's so many guys that were wrestlers before. I think it just teaches y'all that grit and how to bear down, right? So it's pretty cool to see. But yeah, he's absolutely crushed it, and just the amount of rookies, man, in the bareback riding that are making their first NFR this year is unreal. The field looks insanely different than it has. We were used to seeing not the same 15, but pretty dang close. There's a couple that'll sneak in there, and I think about half the field is all new this year. You got Keenan, Kate Saunier, Dean Thompson. Who else, dude? There's so many guys that were blowing me away. They were getting in and were riding so well. Jaco, yeah, man. Good for Jaco Roper getting in there. And then on the bubble, we got Sam Peterson's right there, chomping at the bit, ready to get in. Jacob Lees is right behind him. It's wild. And from that 15th to 18th, 19th place, it's only $10,000 difference. So these next couple of weeks are going to mean a lot for those guys on the bubble. And we're going to see some, not drama, but a little bit, some drama of the race and seeing who's going to end up getting in there. I'm selfishly really wanting Sam to get in there. I want to see him sneak in. He rides outstanding, and I think could have a hell of a finals if he gets in. It's cool, really cool to see, guys. The next generation, and the next generation of cowboy is different. These guys are actually preparing themselves. Not all of them, but I think that will change after a couple of years of going this hard. They'll realize that they are not invincible, because we all felt like that when we were 19 and 20 years old. And they'll start realizing they need to take care of themselves. But again, a rookie breaking the regular season earning records is just so cool to me. So good work, Keenan. Keep that shit up. I'm sure you don't listen to this podcast, but someone will tell you that we were talking about you. And what about Bronc Ride? Bronc Ride's looking really good. Dude, the Canadians. I don't think I've seen so many Canadians getting in, which is so cool.
There is a bunch of them in the
Zeke, Dawson, Ben, Leighton.
It's like 4 of them, which is pretty
4 or
cool.
5 right
usually
there.
It's about 2. Yeah. And then how about Damo's right there?
Damo, man.
So
but
stoked
he's
for
pretty well
Damo,
locked
man.
in for his first.
Yeah, I'm really excited for him. I got to see him in Albuquerque, and he's one of those that he's been doing some stuff in season, and I'm like, how are you feeling? He's like, dude, I feel great. Like I'm ready for ready for another month. Like I could keep going, and it was so cool because he was like, yeah, he's actually going to go back to Australia as soon as the season's over. And he's going to prep over there and then come back and be ready for the finals. So I'm really, really excited for him. It's so cool to be able to get to work with somebody. I've got to work with Damo for about 2 years now. And so getting to work with him when he was on his permit, and then he bought his rookie card, and getting to navigate that, he won Rookie of the Year. And then this year coming in, and really he was on the bubble last year this time and didn't quite make it. And then this year being able to see him go and just he's one that at Calgary, he had, I think he told me $35,000 won at Calgary. As of this morning, he has
like
$123,000 won. He's won like $90,000 since Calgary, which is like mid-July. If you guys don't believe that the season is make or break in July, August, and September, you're crazy. That's when it all comes down. But he's been hot. He's number one. He's been drawing the right horses, but he's put himself in a physical position to capitalize on that by his training and preparing his body for that. You can draw the right horses all you want to, but if you're sored up and crippled and not feeling good or broke, it doesn't matter. You've got to be able to capitalize when you draw those ones at the right time. And that's something that he's done really well this year. And I'm really, really, really excited to be able to walk through this next chapter with him. We'll have about 9 weeks or so of him being in Australia, more like 8.5 by the time of flights and stuff, to be able to get him ready. And so I'm super stoked for that opportunity to get to see him in the bright lights. Is going to be good.
Heck yeah, man. It's awesome. It's just a great thing to see, and it feels good to be a part of, right? When you see that hard work pay off. And I think it's really important that this didn't happen overnight. Like, this dude has been working hard for the last couple of years at this and trusting the process. And things don't always go right, but he stayed true to what he knows and what things that make him feel good. And here we are 2 years later, and he's walking into his first NFR. So anybody listening, this isn't an overnight thing. This isn't, something that is going to happen in a couple months. You have to be committed and dedicated to the process and doing the things that you need to do, even when they're not fun to do, or you don't want to do them, because that's what's going to make the difference. And how many times have you guys heard your athletes in the middle of this, come August, September, damn, I didn't want to do anything today, but I am so glad I did. I feel so much better after. I feel like a new person. My mind's clearer, body's feeling better, like ready to compete. There's a million times that these guys don't want to do the work, but the difference between them and the guys that are not making the NFR is they still do the work anyways. And that's what makes a champion. That's the bottom line right there. Discipline over everything, man. You've got to be disciplined and be able to do it and trust the people on your side and trust the team that you have. And that's what we have here, is a really badass team and trusting athletes. And that's why it works. It's cool to see, man. Fires me up. And also, like, Zeke was one of the guys that called me the day after Pendleton, and I said, "How do you feel?" He's like, "I feel better than I've ever felt." So that's pretty cool, is because you're a year older. It's not like you're getting younger. So if we can make you feel better the older you get, dude, sky's the limit. We are going to see those Tom Brady's of rough stock. We are going to see those guys making NFRs in their late 30s, maybe even 40, winning, $500,000 a year, if not more, after the finals, which is, it's exciting to me, man. That's the whole reason that we got into this game and wanted to start this, right?
And Zeke's very well within striking distance of a fourth world championship. So trivia question, maybe you guys know, maybe you don't. What is like the who has the most, or what is the most saddle bronc titles?
Ooh, is it got to be like Billy Epauer or something?
That's what I was thinking.
That's interesting.
Somewhere around that era. We'll have to bring that up on the next show, or unless you can find it now.
Maybe I can search it real quick. Yeah, I might be able to find it. Somebody listening probably knows.
Yeah, they're probably sitting there screaming at
these guys
you
are
idiots. It's this person.
Yeah. How do you not know that?
How do you not know? No, that's so funny.
I'm not gonna lie, my trivia on this stuff is not good. I really don't. I'm not good with all that. I had to look up all the standings just now before we got on the show, so I'm worthless when it comes to that. I'm just focusing on workouts.
Most of the search results that I get here, the easier are all they're all referencing Logan Hayes 95.5 this year. So you got to scroll a ways to get to anything else. So I don't know. Paul's a little bit better.
We'll circle back on that one
than I am. We'll circle back.
So Billy's got 5. I know that for sure. As of this article was written in 2021 out of Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. He has 5.
I don't think he won any after that.
I would not think so.
I would have thought that he had more than that.
Casey Tibbs won 6 saddle bronc world titles.
Ooh.
That was probably before the
I think
NFR
that's kind of cool to think about too here. Like, we're talking about a generation or two behind where we are now, and we start getting into those guys. And the dominance that they reigned was mostly due to their own natural athleticism, right? And now we're at this place where so many more guys are athletic, but also training that athleticism. And so we're seeing guys not be able to hold that reign as long, or being able to, be that dominant as long and win those world titles back to back to back or over that time period. But Zeke is one of those guys, I think, that is a anomaly. Is that the right word? He is, but he's not, because he works, man. He puts the work in every single day. Like the guy's in the gym the day after he got home and is like, let's go. I'm ready. Fired up. I got this long till Sioux Falls. I got this long till the CFR. And then we got this long after the NFR. He's like, what are we doing? He called me the week before Pendleton, and we talked for an hour and a half about his whole plan, because he's like invested. He wants to know why we're doing certain things. How is this going to make me a better bronc rider? And I think that's something we really upped as coaches, is we've really dove into educating ourselves as much as we can, even more. We knew a lot going into this year, but we know so much more coming out of this year. And the plans and programs that we have set up are just going to be the next level, man. We're going to see these guys that stick to these plans go in the NFR and, knock on wood, are going to just absolutely wreck shop. And I cannot wait, because that's just putting the stamp on it for us. It's going to be great, dude.
We're at a spot with strength and conditioning and rodeo where like the programs that we write, like next year, our program will probably look different, because we're learning more about rodeo and how strength and conditioning applies to the sport every single year. And it's not like us, it's just in general in rodeo across the board. We're getting more research. We're getting new things. A football program for a wide receiver might have looked somewhat similar over the course of the last 10 years. Well, we're not there yet. They've got so many, tens of thousands of published research articles on how to train wide receivers for max speed. Well, we have nothing yet. And so that's been really cool to like just continue to evolve and grow as coaches, and being able to look at the programs that we're doing, exercise selection, all the variables that go in, and be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I hope that our programs look different next year, because that means that we've grown and we've
the
learned
game's
more.
still evolving too.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely, it is.
There's guys going to 120 rodeos, but there's also guys going to 40. You know,
30.
like
Yeah.
there's a good handful of guys that aren't going to very many rodeos. Like they're keeping their competition volume low, and they are still executing. Like they're still making, being NFR contenders at a lower quantity of rodeos.
Can you imagine if like working with bareback riders that went to 3 rodeos a week, and for 3 or 4 months, and the rest of the year you could kind of like train, you know what I'm saying? Like where you didn't have to navigate what we have to, the biggest hurdle we have in rodeo is the travel schedule and rodeoing and stuff. But like, if we could have some sort of, and I don't know that we'll get there, maybe we do, but some sort of like, a more of a PBR schedule for those guys where they're home during the week, what we could do in the gym with that kind of time, it's insane. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about.
Man. It is, and maybe we will be there one day. But they're like, Casey Field's one of those guys. Like the dude, I don't even. He's gone to so little rodeos. Some of his money still might not count. Like for real, like his playoff money and stuff. Like legit, but he's still going to be in there. And he knows that the NFR is where you make the real money. That's where you're going to make your year, right? And so being healthy, being strong and fresh going into there, while all these other guys, they've had 10 weeks off or whatever. But again, they're not preparing like he is, most of them still. I'll even holler at most of the rookies here, like they aren't doing the things they need to be where Casey is at the age he is. They will blow out. They will not make it because they're not preparing themselves. That'll change. Like I said, they'll get a little bit older and realize they're not invincible and bulletproof, just like we all did. But my hope is that they realize that sooner than later, and don't let themselves get to that point where they're so beat up that they're like, oh my God, I have to do something now. It's like, dude, it should be on the top of your list to be preparing yourself and getting ready to do this as long as you want to do, instead of just floating with I'm so successful now. It's like, dude, that shit don't last. You better start doing something more and doing something different, or else someone else is going to come up and take your spot.
Completely agree. And I'm not saying that completely cutting down your competition volume is the answer, but think about this. I just did a couple quick calculations. If Casey if somebody goes to 45 rodeos a year, it would take them 10 years to get to 450 horses, right? You only get X amount of rides on your body. Well, then somebody else that comes in and they go to 100 rodeos a year, they're getting on the same amount of bucking horses as Casey in 4.5 years. 4 years, and that competition volume is equal. Well, think about how much longer you can ride if you can manage cutting that competition volume out. One of the variables that we're going to have to navigate is, I know for me, I was the better version of myself when I was getting on 4 or 5 a week, when I was able to go consistently. And I think that we saw some of that with the, was it the ERA that they kind of started? Some of those guys went to just getting on 1 or 2 a week. And I think that we saw their riding wasn't really what they were capable of. And was it the competition volume? Was it all the stress from the things that were going on internally within the ERA and the PRCA? I don't know. But if you can find that balance and stretch your body as far as competition volume goes and keep that on the lower end, and you train appropriately, the sky's the limit, right? You can, who knows how long we can go.
Yeah, I don't think there was a lot of prep work going into those guys back then. And that wasn't even that long ago. It was only 4 or 5 years ago, right? But I think they were not getting as much stock, but they also weren't working out or visualizing or getting on a bucking machine or a spur board and keeping those fundamentals in tune, right? They were just going to get on 1 or 2 and like, hey, this is pretty cool. I only have to get on a couple of horses, and that doesn't go well. And I don't think it goes well for anybody doing that. But, a guy like Casey, I know that dude's preparing. He, blocks off 2 hours of his day for bareback riding and then goes on to do the rest of his day and doesn't think about it after that. But he has his time set out and gets after it. But sky's the limit here, I think. And we're going to see this continue to evolve. The rodeo cowboy and athlete is going to continue to evolve from here on out. And I'm excited to see where this all settles here in a couple of weeks. I know we said that the next episode that you guys would hear, I'd be married, but Paul can't count worth shit, so we had to do one earlier.
We were one short. This should come out. This should come out right there after your wedding, right? Beginning of October.
Yeah,
or
the week
something like
after.
that, right around in
Yeah,
there. Yeah, so that it's going to be around about 60 days before the NFR. So I wanted to say, like, if you're listening to this and you're planning on going to the finals, even if it's for a couple perfs or something, and you want to get together or say hey or whatever,
hit us up.
I'd love to chat with some people. There's so many people that message me and they're like, hey, we love the podcast, or, we use the Champion Living Fitness app, or their clients. And in Albuquerque, I got to meet a guy that's worked with me for almost a year. Never met him before. He's absolute stud,
Yep.
Cooper James, but I got to actually meet him in person. We love to be able to get FaceTime with people that enjoy what we're doing. So definitely shoot any of us a message. If you're going to be going to Vegas and we're going to be running around, it's going to be absolutely insane. I'm so excited about it, but I know that we'd make time to get a cup of coffee, hang out. Who knows? We might even get in the gym together. But it'd be great to
I'd
be able
love
to
get some
see
workouts.
the people that enjoy our content and see you guys in person.
Yeah, and as we get closer, I know we're working on kind of establishing a home base. So
it'll be Resorts World.
we can somewhere within Resorts World, we're going to try and have a central location where we're going to be a good chunk of the time. So
we'll be there. We'll be hanging out at HOOEY World, at the BFO. We'll be around Resorts World a lot. So if you're staying there, let us know. We're going to be working out in the mornings, kind of around. We're going to be trying to do some live podcasting as well. So hopefully we'll have a better schedule for that, and you guys can come watch us do this live and ask questions, do whatever. We'd love to get you guys involved and get this rolling. But we're so excited for the finals and can't wait to be there and see who's going to be throwing down for these world titles. It's going to be an epic 10 days. And then after that, I don't know if we've announced this yet. We're going to Australia, and I cannot wait for that. Bringing the OPA to Australia. We had a rodeo association there, Oberon, or how, I don't know how to say it. I sound like a dumbass right now. But
Oberon.
I think it was just huge for their culture there, for their sport over there. They love rodeo, and they see the value in having us come and educate and teach them how we're doing things here and just helping to really grow the rough stock events over there. So got some really good guys. We got Damo and Jamie Howlett going with us for the horse riding. I think that was extremely important because those are two Australians that have come to the United States and made the NFRs and can really share some insight to some of those guys. Man, there's some ranked guys over there. We got to meet a couple of them in our last school. There's some guys that can definitely compete over here and have a chance at making the NFR, no doubt. And then cannot thank Josh Frost enough for coming along with us to teach bull riding and to expand the sport of bull riding across the pond, man. Things are changing. I'm excited that we are here for it and can be the people that are helping grow in the sport, because that's all we've ever wanted to do since we started this, is just grow the sport, increase the awareness of this awesome culture that we have in the brotherhood and just family that is rodeo. I'm pumped, guys. But for real this time, next episode, I will be a married man. And we are going to have a great time up here. Cannot wait for you guys to get up here and be there on this day for me, guys. I appreciate y'all doing that. And everybody, until next time, we'll catch you later.